every generation, two Prose Bros are born, chosen to watch every episode of Buffy and tell you what they think about them. This is the Prose Bros Visit Sunnydale, Season 3.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Prose Bros Visit Sunnydale. I am Eddie Cruz.
And I'm Geoff.
And today we are doing Season 3, Episode 7, Revelations.
Yes, we are.
It is a good episode. Was it a good episode?
No, it wasn't.
I fucking hated it. That was a revelation. That's the revelation I had about this episode.
That it was a bad one?
It was a bad episode.
Well, there was a lot going on. Not in the episode. Your baby was being adorable.
She is pretty adorable.
So that was going on. We both have phones that we can get out whenever we feel like it, whenever the episode is boring.
Did I look at my phone? I feel like I wasn't looking at my phone that much.
You weren't?
Maybe I was. I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea. I don't remember doing anything for the last hour.
That's a revelation to you, that you were on your phone.
Absolutely.
Okay.
What was this episode about? This horrible episode. What was this horrible episode about?
It wasn't horrible.
It was bad, though. I guess it's just because the last one was so good. It's always when you have a really good episode that the next episode, when it doesn't even come close.
I don't think it was worse than that trio of episodes we got at the end of Season 2.
Once again, I think that's the reason why Season 2 isn't one of my favorite seasons of Buffy. Other than the fact that 6 is amazing. Season 6 is incredible.
My favorite as well.
My favorite, 100%.
So the intro to this starts off at the Bronze with dingoes ate my what?
Nieces and nephews?
Yes, dingoes ate my nieces and nephews who are playing to a packed crowd.
Super packed. And they're not old this time. They're young.
Yeah.
And they're singing along.
Yeah.
If I could fall, I would never lie. Yeah.
Is that a real song?
That's what he's saying.
Oh, I just...
At least that's what I thought he was singing.
I tuned it out.
He says, I would never lie, and they cut off, and it doesn't sound like the end of the song at all.
It was an awkward ending to the song, but everybody was into it.
Very into it.
So meanwhile, we see the rest of the Scoobies at a table watching the dingoes, and Xander and Will are being pretty fucking awkward. Super
awkward. Not just awkward with other people, they're being awkward with each other too. So they don't want to touch each other. I guess the whole thing is that they want each other so bad that they have to
they can't resist each other.
So
I don't think that comes across though.
No,
very well.
It feels fumbly.
I can
silly.
see that as the intent. I mean, they are children, 17-year-olds. So who knows? Oz comes over and scooches them over, and that's when we get that super awkward scene. And then they start talking about Buffy and how she's acting differently and how she could potentially have a boyfriend.
Yeah, they're saying she's sneaking around, and, it's been a while since Scott, so they're making, I guess, different narratives up in their head as to why she's acting weird.
It hasn't been that long. And Buffy is a slayer, so, I give her some time alone. Maybe she just doesn't want to hang out with the Scoobies.
Yeah. Well, considering that each season is a year and there's 20-some episodes or whatever, between each episode you're talking, a couple weeks to a month?
Really? No.
A couple weeks?
My idea is that it's week to week, just like we're watching the show, because it's not a year, because they take the summer off.
I never thought about it that way. That makes sense.
So there's a lot of activity during sweeps week in November, and then nothing really happens in December because of the Hellmouth doesn't act up in December.
Just like one Christmas episode.
Yeah, sure. So Buffy denies it. She's like, no, but I do have a date tonight. And lo and behold, it's Faith. And they're going to go out to the graveyard and start slaying as Giles looks on, taking notes and doing whatever Giles does. They end up killing 2 vampires in a kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say bro-y fashion, but synchronized and then give a high five.
They're very, very happy with each other and hanging out with each other. If there was you were talking about last time about how the internet or wherever flared up with this idea that there's a lot of sexual tension between them.
Yes.
If I did have to apply that theory to something that's going on, this might be one of them.
Yeah, maybe you could see that with the date comment, but here they just seemed like friends enjoying each other's company.
Yeah.
Work friends?
Work friends?
I don't know.
And definitely, it's something that needed to happen, and it's something that's been kind of building up. You kind of wanted to see this with the introduction of Faith. So she comes onto the scene, and you're kind of waiting for that, like, double Slayer action. You finally get it in this episode. It's a little bit lackluster, though. Like, I wasn't really super into the fight scene. It was okay.
Yeah, at least early on. For the intros, I'm like, if they're not that great, that's the action scenes, at least that's fine. So they end up killing 2 vampires and enter Gwendolyn Post, who critiques both of their slaying abilities and apparently is Faith's new watcher.
She just comes in and goes, "I'm the new watcher."
I don't know why she knew how to find them.
Hellmouth? Go to the Hellmouth.
Go to the Hellmouth. The Hellmouth's in the library.
Right? That's how she found them.
Okay, sure.
It's just like, there's a map that she had that just had Hellmouth with an X on it.
I mean, she potentially could be cruising around many, many cemeteries trying to find them.
Yeah.
But
found them in the library.
I don't know. Yeah. So cut to the library, and Gwendolyn is giving Giles shit about his book collection.
Yeah, she's a complete bitch.
She's being snobby unnecessarily, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess to try to say that she's better than Giles at his job.
Yeah, first she picks up a couple books. Well, actually, no. She makes reference to some books that he doesn't have, then mentions one that he does have just to insult him in the fact that everybody has that book.
I wish in this scene, of course this wouldn't have happened, but he just would have gone, "Hey, fuck you."
Yeah, it would have been very out of character. Maybe if he had one of those band candy bars just laying around, he could just take a bite of that and just be like, "Fucking sorting, fuck off, bitch."
Yeah.
And she's just like, "I knew you were a piece of shit, Giles, the Ripper. I've heard about you."
That sounds like New Zealand.
A little bit.
Okay.
Fair dinkum.
So in the library, they established that Lagos is coming. And
fucking lakes.
Yeah.
The Mexican lakes.
He is coming to get some glove that we don't know what it's going to do yet. And
Lagos, they kind of build him up a little bit here. I mean, I'm expecting somebody that looks pretty cool. Like at least, something like the Judge,
Yeah, but that seems like every episode that it's like, oh my God, this person.
This guy. Now this guy is going to fuck shit up. We really need to worry about this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Lagos is coming. He's looking for the glove. Next, at the Evil Cemetery Party Mansion.
The Evil Cemetery Party Mansion that Angel owns? Is renting to own?
This mansion is getting more titles than Daenerys in Game of Thrones, I feel. We keep adding to shit.
Is a definite Mother of Dragons location, though.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to live in this place.
Okay. It seems all right. Might be difficult for heating and or cooling.
Those vaulted ceilings get you every time on that heating bill, man. But apparently it's nice enough to be shirtless doing Tai Chi if you're a man, or a woman you can wear like a wife beater. Yeah,
Buffy and Angel are doing, again, Tai Chi for training purposes.
Yeah, they're training.
We find out. It gets kind of intimate.
Haven't you ever just stopped somebody when they're about to fight you and just started doing Tai Chi?
No.
Oh. Well, I have, and I've lost to many friends.
Okay. So Tai Chi does not work.
Or when you're trying to pick up women. Like, if you try to be like, let me just do some Tai Chi with you the way that he was doing it, and just, like, grab their hands and, like, couldn't put them up there.
I don't know, man. It worked for Angel here, and it worked for Iron Fist.
Yeah.
So
what the fuck?
Randomly.
Just shirtless Tai Chi that's how you do it.
So they get intimate, and Buffy freaks out a little bit and leaves because clearly it's not what she wants to happen. So back at the library, Giles is getting snarky with Xander, and I feel he's basically putting it on Xander because, like you were saying, Gwendolyn was getting all pissed off at him, so shit rolls downhill.
Yeah.
So Xander and Willow go off in the back of the library to research some shit that's in the back of the stacks, I guess.
They go to research each other's bodies.
Yeah. Willow has a headache, and Xander, of course, takes it upon himself to make her feel better.
He's the remedy to that headache.
They start touching each other, and then they start making out.
But at the same time, they still have like books around and stuff. She actually kind of attacked him in that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was the instigator in that one.
Well, they both
wanted it to happen. However, she kind of jumped his bones.
Yeah. Giles interrupts, and I don't know if they feel bad about it. They just kind of like, oh shit, we're caught. But Giles, of course, didn't see anything because he's preoccupied with Lagos, the glove, and everything else that's going on.
His predisposition is not care about what's going on in their love lives.
Yeah.
Also, I just don't think he wants to know.
After that, we see Buffy and Faith discuss men, and Faith has this one comment. She's naming all the dudes, or at least all the fucked up dudes that she's been with or dated, and which I assume is all of them. Mm-hmm. And she says something along the lines of get some and get gone.
Yeah, get some, get gone. And then she also refers to Angel as Buffy's meat. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
That was ridiculous. So I was like, whoa, just meat. Like, just...
I thought I misheard that.
Salchicha. That means sausage.
It had to have been something else, Spanish. Right?
No, I think that's exactly what you meant.
Yeah, so she starts inquiring about Angel, and then Buffy's meat.
Or beat. Maybe she assumes Buffy's a journalist and is on the Angel beat.
Okay, yeah.
It's the only other thing I could say that it sounded like.
It's something. Buffy instantly gets super touchy about it because Angel is still clearly in her life. Mm-hmm. They part ways, assumingly, so Buffy can meet up with Angel, and Faith goes off on her own, which I assume is like the first time we see Faith slaying by herself. Have we seen that?
Yeah, by herself, yes. I mean, it's been implied different times. Like,
yeah, but we never see it.
Yeah, I'll go do the rounds. You stay here and whatever.
What we do see is Faith at the graveyard attacking Tusk Demon looking through crypts, which we assume at this point is Lagos.
Lagos.
Yeah.
That is the Mexican lakes.
Yeah, he didn't look that good.
No, he looks really, really haphazardly done.
And maybe because it's the type of show it is, but you see him and he's digging through this crypt and he has an axe. And I thought, oh yeah, I don't know if it's because I remembered what was going to happen, or it's just the fact that he has an axe and that's the first thing you see. It's like, yep, he's going to get decapitated with this axe.
I thought that, and I also thought basically at the end of the thing where whenever somebody puts on that glove's coming off with that axe. But I was wrong.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I thought.
Definitely possible as well.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, at another graveyard that Giles had sent Xander to, or rather Xander suggested he go look at the search graveyards for, I don't know what his purpose was. What was he going to do?
I'm not really sure, but it kind of felt like Xander was just like, I need to do something.
He wanted something that was not in the library with Willow. So I'm not sure what I guess he didn't really think this through. I don't know why Giles was like, yeah, sure. There's like a demon searching these crypts as well. Why don't you go and find some fucking information?
I think it's also maybe a fact of Giles trying to impress
Gwendolyn?
instead. Like, just
Like he's in charge, and he has...
Like, I have a steady hand over the Scoobies.
Yeah.
My Slayer listens to me, and so do all these lackeys.
So while Xander is there at a graveyard, he sees Angel coming out of a crypt carrying something wrapped up in sheets or rags, whatever you call it. And this is the first time any of the Scoobies has seen Angel.
Anybody other than Buffy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's still alive, I guess.
Yeah.
So he follows Angel back to his evil cemetery party mansion and sees Buffy and Angel making out.
Yeah, that was a very well-timed, I guess, showing up. They hadn't made out at all since he's been back. They haven't made out at all.
Angel's fast, dude.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they're just like, oh, Xander's here.
What I think happened... Well, they don't know he's here, but...
Yeah, but it's just very convenient.
It would be super hilarious if Angel knew the entire time. He's like, I can tell Xander's fucking following me. The first thing I'm going to do is make out with Buffy, because fuck cramps, Xander.
Like the Buffy movie. He starts getting cramps whenever Xander's around. Just like, come here.
I more meant that he could smell a human, but sure, yeah, he gets cramps and immediately...
You know that Xander wears like Axe body spray or something.
Was that popular back in the day? He probably wears something awful, right?
CK1.
Okay. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there you go. Or CKB.
That was expensive, right? No?
No.
I remember my parents getting me some, and I was like, I'm not going to wear this.
I mean, it was essentially Walgreens perfume. I mean, all perfume is garbage. If you spend a lot of money for perfume, you're wasting your money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Just fart a lot.
So, at Angel's place, we see him give Buffy the glove.
Yes.
So he knew exactly where it was, what crypt, and he handled this shit.
I think he just had it. I think that maybe like Angel got drunk and then like went and got the glove, and when she was like, oh, this glove, and he was like, oh, fuck, that's what that thing is. I just wrapped it in a blanket and put it under my bed. He just had it around, obviously.
Like when he was evil?
They didn't show him going to get it anywhere. He just walked out of the fucking building and just had it.
Yeah, it is weird that they're concerned about this glove, and instantly he's like, know where that shit is, and just goes.
What if he has just like a room full of artifacts?
He could.
While he was feral angel, he just went out and collected a bunch of stuff like a dog.
I was thinking like the Highlander, but like I guess a dog.
Yeah, I mean, I guess a Highlander would make more sense, but wouldn't that mean that you could afford something better than... I mean, the party mansion's pretty sweet. Never mind. What do you think the rent on the party mansion is?
I think he's squatting.
Yeah, but that place is way too nice to be a squatting place. Unless he fixed it.
I don't know. I mean, we've talked about real estate in Sunnydale being super cheap in general, and I guess because people are dying.
You're assuming... I'm assuming it's in a cemetery.
Yeah, it is, right?
So, yeah. So...
Or no? I've always assumed.
Have you ever been to a cemetery that has like a huge, awesome ballroom of a room like this?
I usually don't go unless somebody has died, so I don't really look around too much.
Oh, yeah. I go sometimes when I get drunk and like bike ride around there, but...
I like the one around Central.
Yeah, like Concordia.
Yeah. I mean, I look over. I don't go in.
We go in. We go in. We go in, and then I dig up some stuff. I play with the bones. And
okay. Your bone.
I find some ancient tactical gloves. Take them home just in case one of my friends asks for it.
Hide them when you're drunk.
There you go.
Okay. So meanwhile at Giles' place, Gwendolyn is over, and he, I guess, respects her enough to invite her back to his place. I thought this scene was taking place at the library, but apparently it's him and her.
Is he trying to bone her?
I don't know.
Maybe. He's like a new prospect.
Yeah. He's clearly trying to impress her, so why not?
I think he's challenged by her, and that makes him very, very, I guess, defensive and combative.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're challenged by somebody, don't you want to impress them?
Yeah.
I guess why would he take her back to his shitty apartment if he wanted to impress
He
her.
wants to impress her, but he takes her back to his apartment and
He's like, my last girlfriend died here. I guess she didn't die there. She was placed there for me to find. Sorry.
Yeah, technicalities, huh? Wow.
Yeah. So Giles is saying he has control over Buffy because Gwendolyn is giving him shit that she's unruly. Just giving him an unnecessary amount of shit the entire time. Which, by the time you get to the reveal, you're like, why?
Yeah, essentially they make you want to hate her. They do this with Wesley, but not to this extent, you know? Like, they make him bad enough to be like, oh, he's annoying, but he's not flat out evil. Yeah, it's okay.
I guess to throw off the scent.
It works.
It's okay.
I can say that her being so concentrated evil or annoyingness or pretension or whatever it is that she's throwing out in such a short period of time makes you know that she's up to something no good.
Really, I thought the opposite.
Really? You thought that she was going to be a sustainable character on the show?
I don't know what I thought about the first time around, but seeing somebody who's this snarky, this kind of by the book, I thought maybe that there was going to be like another evil. Of course, it's Buffy, and it's almost like Scooby-Doo, where the new character is the person who's evil. But I don't know.
She's just a little bit too mean and snarky. Like, I wouldn't have ever warmed up to her the way I warmed up to Wesley eventually.
But did you warm up to Wesley in Angel or in Buffy?
I think I warmed up to him in Buffy. No, not really. I guess
for me personally,
it was Angel.
I hated Wesley. And when I was watching Angel and I saw him in Angel, I was like, oh, this fucking character, which I grew to love Wesley. Wesley's one of the best characters.
But not until you grew to hate him so much that you despise him. And then after that, you're like, all right, now I like you.
Yeah, I don't know. But we'll definitely get to that this season.
Yeah. And we'll get to Angel in about 7 years.
So mid-speech, when Giles is saying that he has everything under control, Xander comes in and undoes everything.
Yeah, by having sex with Gwendolyn.
Yeah, he just bangs her out right there on the couch.
Yep, just like he does with all the other bad guys.
He bangs every bad guy.
On that couch.
Including the mayor when he's a snake. So Xander comes in and undoes everything Giles is saying with the statement that you need to see what's going on with Buffy.
Arguing essentially that he's a good watcher, that he has control of the situation, and Xander comes in and goes, I need to talk to you about Buffy.
Yeah.
Something horrible's going on.
And right after that, they're in the library giving Buffy an intervention about Angel.
Yeah.
They all know,
like,
they've all told each other. Yeah.
Cat's out of the bag. So is Angel. Angel was in the bag.
Xander is... I don't know how you feel about this. If he is justified at all or being a complete piece of shit?
A little bit of both. He's justified because Angel did kill somebody, and he's being a piece of shit because he's really jelly.
He makes that comment that, like, what happens when you give... I thought this was fucking hilarious. And give him a happy.
Yeah. That's really weird. It's, Buffy speak.
Yeah, and it makes sense coming from Xander, but it's kind of a fucked up statement to make. He also makes reference to Miss Calendar in this intervention. Buffy calls Xander out about being jealous, which I think all this is true.
Yeah, I mean, King insensitive for sure. He's definitely not being cool guy Xander. Not that there really probably is cool guy Xander, but he's not being at all a friend of anybody's right now.
Well, when it comes to Angel, they even make a comment about this in the episode about having blinders on. Xander included. He's all rage all the time with Angel. And he's going to make comments that he's not thinking about that hurt Buffy, but that doesn't mean it's not necessarily untrue.
Which is what he does in the next following scenes. What he outlines with Faith is completely of his own design, and it's all anti-Angel. with nobody else on board.
Well, I might have a slight disagreement with that, but we'll talk about that right now. Giles handles the situation. Everybody's upset, and he gets them all to leave. And it seems like Giles is going to be the person that, like, oh, he's the most understanding. But then they have this conversation in his office where he essentially makes Buffy listen to reason. It's like, he tortured me.
Yeah.
He killed my lover. And I don't know, like, Buffy probably should have told Giles. How do you feel about that?
I guess they know at this point that the spell worked and that she killed him and sent him to hell, right?
Yeah. Well, didn't they find out about that last time?
Yeah, well,
but they just don't know
him, right?
Yeah.
So then she didn't know. They didn't know that he's back. But at the same time, for somebody to expect her to go ahead and tell them right off the bat, like, that he's back, knowing full well that they're not going to accept the fact that he's not evil, her knowing he's evil, I think it's actually understandable that she wouldn't tell them.
I can see everybody else except for Giles. I guess I just feel bad for Giles in this situation.
But by telling Giles, you're telling everybody else. Mm-hmm. It's not like you would tell Giles and he would just be like, all right, well, that's our little secret. He would definitely be upset at her and would try to get her to listen to reason. And part of that would probably be bringing in her friends to try to convince her that she shouldn't be around Angel.
Same thing. So intervention.
Yeah, it would have all led back to here anyway.
It's weird though that Xander took control of this intervention, the least rational person.
Yeah,
and maybe it's just that Giles is hurt. That's how I took this. Next, at Faith's place, Gwen stops by. I'm gonna start just saying Gwen because that's way easier.
Cool.
Yeah, and she's still throwing shade at Giles, and she does one of the themes of this season, which is puts a wedge between Faith and the rest of the Scoobies. She makes this comment about how they all had this meeting, this intervention for Buffy, and she wasn't invited, which I think is super important for her character development. It's one of the first times, I mean, we've seen it before, but this is the first time we've seen really somebody in a position of authority do it.
Yeah, definitely. But I also think that was right for the picking.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very obvious that there's a divide there and that Faith doesn't feel like she's part of the Scoobies right now. And I think that that's Buffy and her friends' fault. I think
they exclude her.
They exclude her all the way through. They have... And it's very funny because when she first got there, everybody was so into her stories. They turned her into a fad instead of turning her into a friend.
Now it's like, I'm over you.
Yeah. I've come to realize that Faith is almost a creation of Buffy and her friends in the way that I think she should have made a bigger effort in making her a friend. She could have created a safe space for Faith. And instead, from day one, she turned her away, was jealous of her, was angry towards this girl that has no parents, watcher.
I think maybe the other Scoobies could have done that.
I mean, I think it really comes down to the fact that, like, Buffy is alone in slaying, but Faith is also... They're the only ones that really have a connection. As close as she could have gotten with... Number one, Xander, I don't think she could have gotten close with because she has obvious problems with men. She calls him meat. She refers to having maybe been abused by them. She has a problem with guys, so she thinks all guys are not going to help her out, right? Willow and her, that's like oil and water. They're not going to mix. So I really think that Buffy had the only in. And Buffy
or Giles.
Yeah, or Giles. But at the same time, I really think Buffy should have stepped up and, like,
I think she could have. I wouldn't put that on Buffy, though, because she's a teenager. She's a slayer. Mm-hmm. She essentially has the weight of the world on her shoulders. Does she really need to be looking out for somebody who's going through the same thing? I guess it's a thing of solace, but why are you going to put that on somebody who already has that much stress that's dealing with being a slayer.
Why? All right, let me counter that by saying Faith has all of that same stress, plus she doesn't have any kind of support group. She doesn't have a watcher. She doesn't have a mother. She doesn't have any friends, and is doing the exact same thing that Buffy is doing. And Buffy could definitely at least give her the respect of like being like, hey, you should stay at our gigantic house.
I think I would agree to
enough room to like have 1,000 slayers later.
I would I definitely agree with that, but I seriously don't think, at least in my opinion, I don't think you can blame Buffy for that. She's not a normal teenager, and teenagers themselves are inherently selfish. Why should she go out of her way when she's dealing with so much stuff?
I'm okay with that because I'm okay with calling Buffy selfish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree that.
But see,
should she?
Her selfish behavior stopped her from including Faith.
Yeah. I can definitely agree with that. I think the other Scoobies could have done better, maybe even Giles, but he was so focused on raising Buffy, who essentially is his daughter.
Yeah. Essentially, everybody failed Faith.
But we can't put everything on the Scoobies. Faith also has some personal responsibility.
Yes. I think that once you include the mayor, she does have personal responsibility. I don't think that we should exclude the fact that Buffy could have stopped this problem from ever happening in the first place.
She definitely could have. I'm going to hold to what I believe that she could, but I take it back. She could and she should have, but
she didn't.
Yeah. And I'm not going to like fault her for that because she's a superhero.
Made for a hell of a season.
Yeah. So after that scene at Faith's place in the Bronze, Xander is angrily shooting pool.
Yeah.
And alone, which I don't know why. That doesn't seem like something Xander would do. But maybe just like you were saying, he doesn't think. So he's like, I'm going to shoot pool angrily. And where should I do it? At the Bronze.
Yeah. With no beer or anything. Just, I'm going to go be mopey.
So he's pissed. Faith shows up. She's upset that she wasn't included, and she assumes she knows why they had their little intervention. And of course she doesn't. Xander tells her that it's because Angel is still alive.
Yeah.
And I guess you were saying that it's all... Well, it is Xander's idea to go kill Angel, but Faith goes like full force into it.
Well, he doesn't do any kind of investigation as to whether or not, Angel is worth killing right now, right? He sees Angel with Buffy. He sees them making out. Buffy assures him that he's good, and he doesn't mention any of this to Faith, right? He doesn't mention the fact that Angel was ever good to Faith. He makes it seem like
he's
Angel's
never really
back.
thought that. Even with the soul, yeah. I think...
I agree, but at the same time, like, there is definitely that side to it. And even if his opinion of Angel's bad, he has to at least know that Angel has helped them before.
I think he just has blinders on. He hates this guy no matter what. It doesn't make it right, but he hates this guy. So of course that wouldn't come into his head right at the moment.
Yeah.
That he's back. He could be...
I think I nailed down why I don't like this episode.
Okay.
Because it makes everybody be the worst possible person they can be.
Without chocolate.
Yeah, without chocolate. Like, Giles is a bad watcher because he's worrying more about his reputation around this random watcher that came around. Buffy is only thinking about herself and her relationship with Angel. Faith is thinking everybody's against her. Willow's trying to fuck Xander. Xander's trying to fuck Willow. Xander's trying to kill. The only person that actually comes off in this episode as being just and okay is Cordelia, I guess.
The two people, Oz and Cordelia.
Yeah, that are
Cordelia's just herself.
Being normal.
Oz is just trying to play a show and hang out with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Who's cheating on him.
They're both being cheated on. So this episode really puts everybody in the worst light they could possibly be. It's very easy for Guinevere. The
Gwendolyn. I thought we were going to go with just Gwen.
I forgot that even. Gwendolyn the good witch, or bad witch, essentially has a very easy time just slipping in here and turning everybody against each other. She doesn't have to do much.
Because they're already
at each other's throats.
Except for Giles, which I guess it would make sense that if she can come in. And I don't think she knew that. It's just happenstance that all the Scoobies are at odds.
Easy to do it.
So at the library, Giles is talking to Gwen, and he mentions that one of Buffy's friends has the glove, which I think is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
That it's like, oh yeah, like my watcher or my slayer, one of her friends has it at his place. He's just chilling with this like super powerful glove.
He's trying to turn it into a bong.
He thought it was the old Nintendo Power Glove.
And now he can't take it off.
Yeah, they're in the office, and then this is when we find out that Gwendolyn is evil.
Yeah, she picks up that like phallic statue and hits Giles over the head.
Knocks him the fuck out.
Turns out really fucking hard. Breaks his skin like twice.
For multiple scenes. Like I thought this was going to be one of these knockouts because we talked about when we were watching this episode, everybody gets knocked out in Buffy. They all have like super traumatic brain injuries at this point.
Yeah.
And I thought this one was going to be one where he gets knocked out and comes to relatively fast. Nope. So right after that, we have a scene in the graveyard with Buffy and Willow talking. Why they're both in the graveyard, I'm not sure. Do you know?
No.
Yeah. Me neither. They're in the graveyard talking about Angel. Willow is looking for solace, in my opinion. She's talking to Buffy about like, oh, well, how did it feel when nobody knew your secret? Did it make it better? Was it more exciting? Buffy says no. Willow is about to confess, and Lagos interrupts. Which, did they name him Lagos? Did they ever say, yeah, that's Lagos? Or are you just meant to imply?
It's kind of implied.
Yeah, because Scooby-Doo.
They needed a
right?
Lagos, now they have one.
Okay, yeah. Lagos interrupts. Buffy decapitates him with his own axe. And Willow loses her nerve shortly after.
She's about to tell Buffy, blah, blah, blah. There's a demon behind you. Lagos gets killed, and when they come back to the conversation, Willow no longer wants to tell her.
By the way, what a shitty demon. He does nothing but get his ass kicked and is a poor hide-and-seek player.
He does a good job existing in the episode.
He has tusks.
Mm-hmm.
That was neat. He has medieval armor and an axe.
Yeah.
So
he looks like he's out hunting berries.
Dingleberries. No, he's probably not. But yeah, bye-bye, Lagos. Back at the library, Faith and Xander go to arm up.
Yes.
The little mini arming ceremony. They find Giles, who... Was he moaning?
Yeah.
So he's moaning, still knocked out. I guess you can moan when you're still knocked out.
He wasn't really still knocked out. He was like in a state of that, like, when you're so knocked out, you're just going... You know?
No, but that was awesome. So he was in that state. Xander decides he needs to go and help Giles because he may die. Because Gwendolyn fucked him up.
Yeah.
He's on the verge of dying. Faith essentially says, fuck that. I'm going to go kill Angel.
Kill Angel. You stay here and babysit.
Yeah.
I got this. And to our surprise, Xander tries to stop her to try to find out what happened beforehand.
Yeah, he has a little bit of a...
reservation.
Yeah.
Into doing that. But in the end, he can't stop her because she's the fucking Slayer.
She can do whatever the fuck she wants.
Yep.
After that...
Including him.
Yeah. After that, Buffy comes in while the paramedics are taking Giles away on a gurney. And he has his wits about him a little bit more, but he is fucked up.
I'm really surprised he didn't say anything about Gwendolyn being the bad guy right then. Like, I would have immediately been like, Gwendolyn, bad guy.
Well, he was knocked the fuck out.
Yeah,
Like,
he technically doesn't know it was her.
Jaws was fucked up more so by Gwen than any other villain so far.
Yeah, he really got like it's almost like he got Glenned from Walking Dead.
He was tortured by Angel, but we never saw Angel fuck him up as bad as Gwendolyn did.
Maybe broke his finger? Who knows?
Maybe, yeah. So back at the evil party mansion, Gwen shows up to try to knock out Angel and take the glove. She does a poor job because he's a vampire and you can't knock him out because they don't get concussed.
We don't know.
I don't know either. I thought you had an answer.
Yes, he can't be knocked out.
That is an answer.
He doesn't use his brain.
Angel and Gwen fight while Faith shows up, and It's just poor timing.
Of course, because now he looks like he's beating up her second watcher, which you find out earlier that her first watcher was killed. So it's a big deal.
And Gwendolyn manipulates Faith, which is very easy at this point. It's like, he's a vampire, he's evil, he's attacking me. Buffy comes in, and Faith and Buffy start fighting, and they end up crashing through Angel's door, which I found super amusing because you have to break stuff in Buffy, apparently.
Yeah.
And they need somebody to fix it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, eventually. Xander interrupts, and Faith tosses him.
Yeah.
Like he were a little person at a fair.
That'd be a bad... If somebody tossed me like that, we're talking knee damage, maybe some hip damage. Like, I definitely...
He is 17.
On my arm. At 17, we're talking the same damage. Problems with my knees. It started very early.
She tosses him. I just wanted to mention that because I thought that was fucking hilarious and unnecessary for Faith to do. But it gets you in the mindset of Faith that she's...
5 by 5?
No, she's totally not 5 by 5 right now.
She's more like 6 by 7.
She is so into what she's doing, she doesn't care about the consequences.
3 by 1.
Gwen puts on the glove, and she becomes Thor.
Yeah.
So the entire episode, you don't know what the glove does. Okay, well, no, because she has the power of lightning.
Yes.
Because she's electrocuting people. She could be... The Highlander don't really do that.
They electrocute themselves after they cut off people's heads.
That's the quickening. They get the quickening, they get the power. They don't have the power over lightning.
First you get the khakis, then you get the money, then you get the women.
Then you get the quickening. Okay. Right after that. She
after
becomes Thor. Buffy throws some sort of projectile at her, cuts off her arm, and we're going to argue about this, or at least discuss this. She gets electrocuted to death.
Yeah.
Is that Buffy's fault?
Sure.
Directly?
I don't know.
We've talked about Buffy and her indirect deaths, but this was a direct one, right?
Where that's a direct one because, I mean, there's indirect death and direct death, but once she puts on that glove, you could make the argument that she's now a demon or has made a pact with a demon to the point where when that glove is taken off of her, she is going to burn. Like, it didn't
makes that okay? Like,
I don't know if it makes it okay, but once a glove's on, it's never coming off. Once a glove's on, you're like a different being, right? It's almost like it's not like the Infinity Gauntlet, because you can take that off. You can't take this glove off, right? They said
correct.
Once it's on, you can't take it off.
And there's that scene where it just like digs into her forearm.
Is going to turn you into essentially a monster, right? And your ultimate goal once you have the glove on is human destruction.
Okay, I have another way of putting this that makes it slightly more okay for Buffy. Mm-hmm. She didn't aim it for her head, aim it for her heart. She aimed it for her arm. If it weren't for kind of like the Hans and Franz brothers shooting themselves, if it wasn't for Gwendolyn's actions and putting that on, that would not have happened. Yeah. And Buffy didn't know beforehand that this lightning, she was going to become Thor and then get electrocuted to death.
Yeah.
So,
I agree with that.
All right, okay, so I'll say not on purpose. It was still like
it's a gray
indirect.
Area. It's an indirect. There's an argument to be made that was Buffy's fault. There's an argument to be made that it's not.
Yes. Where are we landing on this?
I don't care.
Okay. So I'll go with indirect because Eddie doesn't care. We're back at the school for a resolution scene. Everybody's fine with Buffy. Xander's okay with her. Cordy is not. She does not trust Buffy, and I love that. That's fucking awesome to me. Giles comes by, and she says that Gwendolyn Post was a watcher, and she was kicked out for mischievous deeds. I don't know. And at Faith's place, we have one last scene where Buffy comes by to repair their relationship, and Faith really isn't having it because I think deep down she feels betrayed for multiple reasons. One of the biggest ones that she wasn't even included during this whole thing. Nobody cared about her.
If anything is really revealed there is essentially fake watcher came in and said a bunch of things that were kind of true, told a bunch of half-truths and kind of turned them into the truth. It's the whole thing is that's why I say that Buffy's kind of responsible for Faith turning evil is because everything Buffy did primed her to look for acceptance from anybody else, right? So first it's this shitty watcher, and Faith seemed to really gravitate towards her after that one conversation about how she was actually going to look after her. And then once again, when she meets the mayor in future episodes, she's like a ripe fruit for the taking, you know? She has been pushed to the point where she doesn't trust the good guys because the good guys are not that good.
So you've mentioned this right now. One of the big themes, the title of this episode is Revelations. Mm-hmm. And initially we were just thinking that it was one revelation, just the fact that Angel is back. Mm-hmm. But maybe the bigger one, the one that's underneath the subtext is that Faith is not a Scooby.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the saddest thing, and that's where we leave this episode off on. It just makes me feel really bad for Faith. Mm-hmm. Still not enough to think Buffy is responsible for everything.
I don't think she's responsible. I'm just saying that she could have done something to avert what happened.
Kind of reminds me of, I guess in a lesser extent, like Spider-Man and Venom, or at least Peter Parker and Venom.
Yeah.
Or Eddie Brock.
Where it's like, you know what? Spider-Man's not responsible for Eddie Brock's actions, but the reason why Venom exists is because he hates Spider-Man so much.
He hates Peter Parker. Jealous of him. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we'll definitely, I think this is a conversation we'll definitely continue this season and the rest of them.
When we get back to season 7, we'll have more. Season 6.
Yeah, more insight.
Yeah.
She's in 4. I don't know if she's in 5.
She's not in 4. Well, yeah, she is in 4.
She's in 4.
Back in 4.
Yeah, she goes back to UC
then
Sunnydale.
Season 5 will have.
She goes off the rails in 4.
Yeah. Well, for one episode.
At least 2. I think it was a 2-parter, or was it like?
It was 2-parter. Yeah.
And then she goes to Angel.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get to it when we get to it. Do you have anything else to say about this episode? I know we talked about that we didn't really like it.
No, it was not. It just felt out of place. It's not an episode that had comedy out front. It's not an episode that really had drama out front. It didn't really have a place in my heart. The characterization kind of moved forward, definitely with Faith, a little bit with Xander and Willow. Other than that,
what did you think about the fight scene? So this was neat. I liked the scene where Faith goes in and she doesn't know Angel's good.
Yeah, it was a good fight.
Angel doesn't know that she's a Slayer.
Yeah.
He's never met her. How did you feel about the fight scene between Faith and Angel and Buffy and Faith? Because I thought those were pretty good.
Those were good. I think as far as like the actual physical fight, they did a good job. Momentum-wise, I guess it had to happen. So I don't know if it was really justified. Faith seems a little bit stupider than she needs to be.
Emotional, maybe?
Emotional.
I'm going to lend that to just...
Easily swayed.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the things that, like, it seems like everybody can control her except for Buffy.
And initially I thought I wasn't going to like this episode at all. And I kind of like this episode. I don't think it's a great one by any means. I don't think it's terrible. Like, season 1 or even end of season 2 status. I thought a miss for this episode was bringing Angel back, or at least announcing that Angel's back to all the Scoobies. I felt that they could have done more. I like this idea of the revelation of Faith not being a Scooby and how it relates to Faith by the end.
Yeah,
I thought that was awesome, and that makes me like the episode a little bit better.
I agree with you that that's really a good reading of it, but is that really proven to be a revelation from the episode or just your response to the episode?
I think it definitely is a revelation.
Well, I don't know if the writers meant that to be.
I would say this, that the title of the episode is Revelations. Mm-hmm. So other than Angel, what is a revelation?
That's true.
Whether or not they put that in there,
you could also just
I think it's there. It's clearly there.
Yeah.
So that's why I liked, personally, I thought this was like a good episode. Not a great episode. Good, serviceable, way better than I think a standard Monster of the Week, at least for me.
I would say that I'd put it above a lot of the worst episodes, but I wouldn't put it into my good category. I would say that this is the top half of the bad category for me.
Did you like this better than Homecoming?
About on par with that one.
Oh, wow. I like this better than Homecoming. Homecoming, I was like...
At least this one does a little bit more characterization. But I was, as far as my boredom, around the same.
All right, so I guess we're both kind of torn on this one or split down the middle. Anything else?
How many deaths were there?
So Buffy, there was 2 vampire deaths. Buffy was responsible for one of them. Faith was responsible for the other one in the great tag team. Buffy killed Lagos.
Mexican Lakes.
Yeah. She killed Lagos, and Buffy indirectly killed Gwendolyn Post. I guess it was technically lightning that killed her, but 4 deaths total. Can I guess which one's next?
I think it's called like Lovers something. I remember looking it up yesterday.
Lover's Walk.
Okay.
And if it's Lover's Walk, this is the one where Spike comes back to Sunnydale because Drusilla dumped him and he's super upset.
Yeah, and he like kidnaps Willow and tries to make her do a love potion.
Yeah.
And it goes horribly wrong? Or is that another one?
I don't remember. I remember him coming back.
I don't know if he does this. I don't know if she ends up doing the potion or doing the spell.
I don't think she does, but I don't know for certain.
I'm excited. The return of Spike.
I remember liking this episode, and hey, Spike's in it. So
yeah, I remember he kills the first Magic Box owner.
Didn't they already kill the first Magic Box owner?
Yeah, Angel killed him.
Okay.
All right, the second Magic Box owner.
So there's, at least one death.
Yes.
That we know of.
At least one death going into this one.
Unless we don't remember correctly.
I'm pretty sure about that one. That's about all I remember about this episode.
Eddie, I know you don't want to do math, but do you know what 25 divided by 5 is and what the second letter of the alphabet is?
Yeah. 5 by 5, B. Jesus Christ. Very surprised he didn't immediately say, excuse me.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't say that either.